Hello and welcome back, and here we are with the Corsair all primed up. In this case I primed it in white. Specifically I used the Stylerez white primer. Why white and not black or other color? Not black because there's going to be a dark color, the navy blue that's going to go over it. So I don't think the black really would have worked out all that well. And white because I also had a lot of white primer, so that's why. Alright, so what's next is gonna be painting this in navy blue. This is the navy blue from Mr. Hobby Color. So that's what I'm gonna be painting it. Luckily the scheme that I'm using here, everything is blue, so I don't have to worry about masking anything really to paint different colors or so forth. So everything here is gonna be that navy blue. Right, so I'll be right back with that. Hello and welcome back. Here I am. Everything has been painted with the main color, which was Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color. I used their leveling thinner for it. Sprayed really well. No clogs, no drips. Just did really well. Nice, good coverage on everything. You can see here this one wing here, and here in the cowling, and the rest of the aircraft here. So next up, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a very thin coat of Pledge clear on it. Let that dry overnight. Then I'm going to come back and start the decaling. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do the decaling first and seal that, and then I'm going to start the weathering process. Okay. All right. So stay tuned for the next part. Hello and welcome back. Slight change of plans here. So I started doing the decaling, and I started with the cowling of this particular aircraft, of the Marines. But the decal that they give you for the polka dots here just doesn't want to fit. I've been at this for about 20 minutes, and I'm afraid I'm just going to wind up ripping and the decal here. Excuse me. I've been with a wet brush here trying to get it to go down. Now the decal, the way they give it to you, is a straight strip. The cowling appear to be, perfectly straight edges, so that in theory the decal should just wrap around it. But there is a flat part here on the cowling, here at the bottom of the cowling, and that's where the problem comes in. So what happens is, as you lay down the decal flat, it starts to turn in, as you see here. See, this is a slight V here, so it just doesn't want to meet up properly here. So it goes straight, 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 and then it curves, and straight, 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 then it curves, and so I can't find any way of getting that to lay flat. I thought about maybe painting this. Painting the white stripe is not a problem, but then painting on the polka dots would be a bit of a problem. Don't have any mask or anything to do that properly. Even if I were to trace this onto Tamiya tape and cut out the holes, I don't have any punch to get consistent holes like that. So I think I'm going to abandon this particular paint scheme and go for the alternate paint scheme that comes with the kit, that being here the navy one from 1952. The paint scheme of the actual aircraft, all sea blue, is all the same. It's just the decals are different. It's a shame. So I was looking forward to having the polka dots here in the Marines aircraft. Anyway, so that's my update. So I am going to do the decals for this aircraft. All right. Thank you. Hello, welcome back. Here I am, done with the decaling. There's really not that many decals on this particular kit. There really aren't any stencils or anything like that, so it's really just the main markings of the aircraft. As I said before, I went with the alternate since my primary one, the dots here, just was not laying down correctly. So I went with the second option that you see here. And just to show you, this has already been decal dried and a coat of clear put over it, getting ready for the weathering. So you can see here, it laid down pretty well. Nice and snuggled into the recesses there, if you can see it there. So light catches it. So it did settle down very well. So there's no problems with the decals. It's just that particular decal is just not sized properly. I'm going to show you here on the wing. See it conform all nicely to the panel lines and so forth there. And same thing here with the main body. Now the one here on the tail, I did score it along where it would bend and put some more Mr. Mark softener on it to conform there. But the decals are really good. So my next step is going to be doing some weathering, and I'm going to show you here the two folding wings. Now it's a very subtle effect, so basically what I'm doing, I am putting some of this Winsor & Newton transparent white on a sheet of paper towel. Let it soak up some of the oil. I am taking a brush, dabbing it, and then using the brush and a Q-tip, just manipulating. This wing I did before, and this one I'm going to do next. So, I mean, the effect is very subtle, and it might be hard to see here with the glare of the gloss under the lights. But it just gives it a little bit more of a weathered look, faded look slightly here, just to give it some texture so it's not so, so blue, such a plain color. So anyway, just to show you real quickly here, what I'm doing, I'm just taking a really small dab. Actually, it's probably a little bit too much. And I am just dabbing it, like for example in this panel here. I'm just going to make some dots. And I will do this throughout other panel, but just to show you here. And again, don't need much, just a little bit. And I will massage it into here, to the panel, blur it out. Again, wipe off my brush. I don't need that much really paint on it. I want to give it a nice subtle, real subtle effect. And wipe it off. And then I'm taking a Q-tip. And again, I'm just lightly massaging it in there. And then at the end, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go in the direction of the airflow. And so there's no swirls or anything in here. And just gently, I'm barely putting any pressure on. I'm just letting the cotton itself just move the paint around. And it gives a really subtle paint effect. Well, you can see there. You can see that this is slightly lighter than that. And then around the edges, if you think you got too much or I think I got too much, I can just go back with a Q-tip and erase it from the edges a little bit, so it's more in the center. And I can just blend it in a little bit more. And that's what I do with the panels here. All right. And after this, I'm going to let it dry for a while, and then it's paint, so it's probably let it dry overnight. Put another little clear coat on it, and then move on to my next stage of weathering. All right, so let me finish up this wing and the horizontal surfaces, and I'll be back with that part. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. All right, so off camera, after I put a light clear coat over the transparent white oils I used for the panel fading, I took some Tamiya Smoke XF19 here, diluted, and I sprayed along the panel lines to give a little bit of a post shading. Now, since this is a dark color, it's probably hard to see on the camera, but I think you can probably see there a little bit. So I did a little bit of that just to give a little bit of post shading, a little bit of darkening around some of the panel lines there, and also over the decals. So it kind of knocks it down a little bit. After that, what I am doing is I am using some of the gray wash here. I'm going to be applying that. Started applying that. Like for example, I put it here on the wing root. Basically just a brush it on. Here I am doing it on the underside of this wing, letting it dry like it is now, and then wipe it off. And then what you get at the end is that. So you can see there that you got the panel lines and all the recessed lines there all pop out, and it gives a little bit more of a dusty, a little more dirty, or faded, worn, used look. And that's what I'm going to do the rest of the aircraft. If you guys never used this, I highly recommend getting some of this and using it. It's pretty simple. Just after it dries up, just take a piece of paper, dampen it, not too wet, and then just start wiping it off. And the good thing about using this on a clear coat like this, if for some reason you find that you don't like it, you can just take a really wet cloth and just wipe everything off, and then just start from the beginning or do something else. But anyway, so that's the basic premise. And typically I'm just going here in the direction of the airflow at the end here, just so that any streaking just looks more natural. And that's it. Alright, so I'm just going to do that for the rest of the aircraft, and I'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. Here I am back after having put the clay wash and cleaning it off. Just to give you a little look there, you can see some of the fading and some of the panel lines and rivets all highlighted there after the wash. Put on the antenna there, actually just glued that a couple of minutes ago, letting that dry. Paint a couple of details like the silver there on the wheels. The rear tire, painted it black, so it was painted blue before. Did the little wingtip lights, so basically just a little bit of a silver there, and then a dab of red and green respectively in the two wings. Painted up the little blue nose there for the propeller. So right now I'm just going to let those little things dry off and put a dull coat over everything, and then do the final touches, which is putting on the little clear pieces here for the lights, and putting the antenna, which is going to be easy wire, and removing the masking, and it'll be all done. And putting on the engine, obviously, which is here, which has been sitting here since almost the beginning. And just to show you real easy, since I left the rear part off without the engine there, since you don't have to mask it, you can just easily slide this in here. And there's the engine. Alright, so I'll be back in a moment. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and here's the final of the Corsair. Everything's painted, put together, put the antenna on. So here the easy wire line. Left the cockpit open. I don't know whether you can see that here on camera inside. It's kind of a little dark in there. So everything good. Didn't do any chipping or anything like that. I mean, just did the weathering with the fading and the for the panel lines and so forth. I mean, I don't think these aircrafts were that battered by the time the Korean War came around. I mean, I'm sure they had their chips and all, but really don't want to be doing a heavily weathered aircraft. Just want to keep it pretty simple build. I know some people may think this is just kind of a boring scheme, all blue, but you know, it's something different here for my shelf. Anyway, so overall, what do I think of the kit? I mean, I think the kit is pretty excellent. I would highly recommend it. I like this so much that I actually went out and ordered another kit, Corsair. I ordered the early bird, the bird cage version of the Corsair that Hobbyboss makes. I also have the bird cage version of the Tamiya kit. So probably sometime in the future I'll do a comparison build and build up both aircraft together. So I can do a little comparison of the old Tamiya compared to the newer Hobbyboss kit. You can take a look there inside the cockpit. I see the dials there reflecting the light, since I put a little bit of a clear thing there. Anyway, so I hope you guys found this build interesting, and I hope you guys go out and build your own Corsair. Alright, so I'm just going to switch cameras angles and give you a little bit revolve around on the aircraft.